Hello dear students. In this lecture series, we are studying germplasm and cryopreservation. It is in the paper of plant biotechnology. Up till now, we have seen the different concepts like what is germplasm and why there is a need to conserve it. Then we studied different types of germplasm conservations such as in situ conservation method and ex situ conservation method. These are the types of conservation method. On-site conservation means in situ conservation. Example is biosphere reserve, the national park, wildlife sanctuaries. Then ex situ conservation methods means off-site conservation of a germplasm, where outside their natural habitats the germplasms are preserved. The example is seed bank, gene bank, your botanical garden and zoological parks. After that, we studied the sophisticated or advanced technique of preservation, that is cryopreservation. In that, chilling treatment is given to a cell or a sample. They are preserved in a frozen state, means around up to minus 196 degrees Celsius temperature is achieved through this method. In this method, by using different chemicals or elements like liquid nitrogen, vapor nitrogen, deep freezers, using deep freezers or solid carbon dioxide. Okay. Then different cryoprotectants are used to protect the cell or a tissue from hazardous effect of these chilling chemicals like liquid nitrogen, vapor nitrogen. They may have adverse effect on cell or tissue, and to prevent them from that, different cryoprotectants like DMSO, dimethyl sulfoxide, glycerol, ethylene, propylene, such as these cryoprotectants are used. Then afterwards we have studied the techniques of cryopreservation, which include the steps like selection of plant material, then pre-culture, then after that cryoprotectant addition, then fourth step is your freezing and storage. Fifth one is thawing, where they are brought to room temperature from the chilled frozen state. Then last one is reculture. In this lecture, last topic, this is the last lecture of this lecture series. In this, we are going to study different another storage methods. Let us see first one, that is cold storage. What is cold storage? Simple. Its name is suggesting us its meaning. It is a conservation method. Obviously, cold storage method means it is a conservation method. It is a conservation method that conserves the germplasm at a very low, not very low, at a low and non-freezing temperature. See, at 1 to 9 degrees Celsius. Okay. So what happens, or what is done in the cold storage? They are preserved in a cold environment but non-freezing. Say freezing point is 0. Okay, 0. At 0 degrees Celsius the water becomes solid or ice. So above that means non-freezing temperature, that is from 1 to 9 degrees Celsius. That cold storage is in this cold storage, the cells or tissue or germplasm is stored at around 1 to 9 degrees Celsius. Okay. What is achieved through this cold storage? It slows down the growth of the plant material at this particular temperature, and hence it protects the plant from any cryogenic injuries. Okay. So here one advantage is there over the cold cryopreservation, that in cryopreservation the temperature is very, very low, and because of that, some injuries may occur to the germplasm or a cell or a tissue because of such cryo preservative chemicals which are added there. So that injuries are called as cryogenic injuries, which can be avoided in this cold storage. So that is one benefit of the cold storage. This method is slow and it requires non-freezing temperature that we discussed. This method is very simple, just it is like a refrigeration of the material. Okay, because we know that if we see in our home refrigerator, the temperature is around 1 to 5 maximum. Okay, 0 to 5. So here it is, the material is preserved in that condition, which is very simple and cost effective method. Okay, then germplasm are preserved with better survival rates. Okay, obviously here there is no issue of any cryogenic injuries, therefore the survival rate is obviously higher than the cryopreservation, maybe at some time. So example, if we see the examples, the virus-free strawberry plants can be preserved, or it could be preserved for around 6 years. They are continuously kept at 10 degree, around 1 to 9 it is given, but there is an approximation where 1 plus minus 1 2 degrees allowed. Okay, so at 10 degrees Celsius we can preserve the strawberry plant for about 6 years. Then number of grape plants could be stored for over 15 years by using the cold storage at around 9 degree. So grape plants can be preserved for 15 years if we simply kept it at a 9 degree Celsius. So it is very simple method, cost effective method, and preservation for a longer period can be achieved. Second type of preservation method is low pressure as well as low oxygen storage. Okay, so this is also a preservation method in which the low pressure means atmospheric pressure is reduced. It is reduced to below 50 mm of Hg, that is mercury. Okay, and the oxygen concentration around plant is also reduced, because if oxygen is provided, then metabolic processes starts to occur, decomposition, breakdown of glucose will take place, that will automatically deteriorates the material. So if we kept the oxygen around the germplasm very low, then obviously it will reduces the metabolic processes, in turn it will increase the storage preservation period of that particular sample, cell or a tissue or a germplasm. Okay, so it is a method in which atmospheric pressure is very low, it is below around 50 mg, and oxygen concentration is also reduced, which also reduces the photosynthetic activity. Obviously photosynthetic activity is also reduced, respiratory activity is also reduced, and thereby inhibiting the plant tissue growth and dimensions. Okay, so again, metabolic processes like respiration, as I told you earlier, then photosynthesis, they are stopped, they are arrested, thereby preventing their growth, and obviously it will again help in the preservation of that germplasm. These conditions may lead to slow and reduced growth of the plant, which results in increasing shelf life of many fruits, vegetables and flowers. Okay, and these methods help in storage of germplasm for a long period of time. So low pressure and low oxygen storage, cold storage, then we have seen cryopreservation. These are the storage methods of a germplasm by which we can preserve the germplasm for a long period of time, and it is very important from biodiversity conservation point of view, because as we discussed in our first lecture that biodiversity loss is attaining its more and more loss is occurring there, and we have this responsibility, being a biology student, we have the responsibility to conserve our biodiversity, and for that germplasm conservation becomes indispensable, it becomes obligatory, and therefore we need to conserve it. And these are some of the methods by which we can conserve, such as cryopreservation, cold storage, low pressure and low oxygen storage. Okay, then we'll move toward the conclusion by studying the applications of cryopreservation, which is the most important method of germplasm conservation, and by which we can preserve a germplasm for a very long period of time. So what are the different applications of cryopreservation? It is an ideal method for very long term storage. Okay, we can preserve it germplasm for many years. Even we can preserve it for hundreds of years, 50 years, 100 years, 200 years. So it is a very effective or ideal method for very long term storage. Recalcitrant seeds can be stored for a very long period of time. Recalcitrant seeds, some seeds are very sensitive from the germination point of view. They do not germinate properly or easily. So such seeds can be stored for a long period of time. Okay. Then rare or endangered germplasms can be maintained for a long period safely. Okay, that is very important from biodiversity conservation point of view. So rare and endangered, which endangered means if we don't take care of that germplasm will soon get extinct. It is in endangered state. So that such a germplasm can be preserved or can be maintained for long period. Okay. Then disease-free germplasm can be maintained for a long period of time, disease-free. Okay, because if it is a disease-free, it remains as it is, because we keep it in a frozen state. So if initially it is disease-free, it remains as it is, and we get a disease-free germplasm after many years. Okay, so that is one significance. Then soma clonal and gametoclonal variation can be also conserved for a long period of time. If some soma clonal somatic variations in the somatic cells or that are limited up to that generation, okay, that soma clonal variation or even gametic variations in the gametes or germ cells, such cells can also be preserved for a very long period. It is very important phenomenon for biodiversity conservation, as we earlier discussed, that if we don't see this topic seriously, in future it becomes very difficult for us to live in this world, because we have studied that all things work in chain. Food, you might have studied food chain or food web. All the animals, all the organisms, they work cooperatively in the harmony of one another, and if we disturb this balance, this ecological, this environmental balance, that will create hazard we even cannot imagine. Okay, so our prime responsibility, our prime duty is to conserve this biodiversity, to conserve the germplasm. Okay, so it is very important from biodiversity conservation perspective. So we need to conserve it, and the conservation strategies applied, or we can conserve it by different preservation methods, like this one, that is cryopreservation. It protects the sample from microbial attack. Okay, if we preserve it at a very frozen temperature, then no organism can survive at such a low temperature below zero, that is minus up to minus 196 we have seen. So this is all about the applications of cryopreservation. I hope you have understood. If you have any difficulty, you can directly WhatsApp me or call me on my mobile. So it ends our lecture series. Thank you. Thank you.